Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing today? Drier than me. Anyway, my name is Dallas. I'm a crew member downstairs here. It's going to tell you all.
We have a whole history of glaciers. Glaciers have grown and retreated countless times over the past few thousand years in this area. And they've left us markers. They've left us clues of how to read them and where to find them and everything. And one of the most obvious clues is this lake we're sitting on right now. This is called Portage Lake. And there was tectonic uplift which caused these mountains to be formed. Now if you look really closely at this rock, you'll notice that it's not all this gray wacky.
Oh, look.
There's these white lines in it, and you can see it, you know, right here to the left of the waterfall and all throughout the water, all throughout the cliff. And these are intrusions that happened once these mountains became mountains. After there was this uplift, there's some igneous activity or volcanic activity that happened underneath the mountain that causes ports to be upshot into it. So it looks like fingers in some places. It looks like a, you know, right here there's a nice big line. In the last century, in about 1895, there was a huge gold rush to the area. And because people saw these intrusions and there was gold in there, but sadly most people
look at the snow cap
went
from the
home
top.
poor. Then when they got here, it only lasted a few years. But it's one of the, you know, unique chapters in Alaska history. Here's some quartz right here. You can see, they're not fed by the glacier, and they're parts of what feed this river right here. Now, as I said earlier, we are the northernmost temperate rainforest. What about wildlife? Well, now this silt just... sandpaper. They just smooth away all the really, really rough edges on either side of the valley. They also leave these things called striations. Now, striations are just big gouges in the side of the valley. Now, you may be wondering how ice, which is less hard than rock, can gouge out of the valley side. This is pure rock right here. What they do is, things fall on top of it, it picks things up, things freeze to it, and so it just pretty much acts like a big giant, picks up rock and just 120 feet a year. So it looks like it's just moving backwards, but it's constantly sliding forward. It's like a cycle. It'll snow on top, it'll turn into glacial ice and flow down, melt, go into the, you know, go into the ocean, make clouds, and then come on top. So there's this big cycle that happens. Now the difference between a river of ice and just a regular river is, however, other than the fact that it moves much slower, is glaciers leave U-shaped valleys. Now if you look along Portage Valley, just over on the right side of the boat behind us, you can see that it's one big U-shaped valley. This whole place was covered in glacial ice at one time, and it carved out a U. Now regular rivers carve out a V. If you think like the Grand Canyon, that is a canyon that has been carved out by a river, and it's a V. The glaciers leave a U, and that is because they're not only working on the bottom of the valley, they're working...
1, 2, 3, you have to count to 10. No, you have to count to 21. What do you mean?
Top, you can't see this, but I'll try to describe it the best I can. This is sort of an aerial view of glaciers. Oh, do we have these two glaciers form when they come to the new, their lateral moraines don't just disappear, they stay, just meet and become a medial moraine. They meet in the middle there. So that's what that big stripe is, and it's really important because they tell us how many tributaries glaciers have fed into this glacier, and so they keep of what further up the mountain. Miles. Now, at one time, Portage Glacier came all the way down to where now and went all the way to the other end of the lake. And as it retreated, it stayed there for quite a long time, gouged out the rest now. And as all its mother retreated 3 miles, still it has about 4.5 ago. 180 years ago, this was glacial ice. Actually, I've been telling you. Now, since downstairs, you'll be able to hear it, but since it's sliding down the mountain, you can hear it cracking and grinding and making a lot of noise. It sort of talks to us. It's making a lot of noise. And that's working to go grinding against this rock. Now, we're in the middle of the 94. And these sort of hills right here, those are also bedrock.
Are you going upstairs?
Seems like most people are down here, so I think I'm going to stay down here.
There are people upstairs. How do you?
You'll get a big view, so, you know, feel free to stay down here if you like, but enjoy the great outdoors.
Hear about it too much.
Oh, there's a glacier that's falling on the water.
Whoa!
We just saw a little bit of calving. If you look at the big rock in the middle, just to the left of it, there's a smaller rock, just several feet to the left, and there's some floating ice right there. There's just a little bit of calving right now.
Yep.
I got it on camera though, so if you didn't.
Oh yeah.
Where's it cracking? It's cracking on that big crack. How about I'm gonna go outside?
Sure. Go enjoy it.
Did anybody see it?
Yep, I saw it.
Good job.